My mother refused to take care of my son. I am not your slave. Get a babysitter, she said, all while she was taking care of my sister's daughters. So when she asked me to pay her bills, I told her, I am not your bank. Find someone else to support you. I'm Marcus, 29, and I run a successful landscaping business in the suburbs of Chicago. The company started small, just me with a beat-up pickup truck and some basic equipment I bought secondhand. But over the past 5 years, I've built it into something I'm genuinely proud of. We now have 12 employees, 5 trucks, and contracts with some of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the area. It wasn't easy getting here, and I've sacrificed a lot along the way. Every month for the past 2 years, I've been sending my mother, Patricia, exactly $2,800 to cover her mortgage payment. This arrangement started after she lost her job at the insurance company, where she'd worked for 15 years. The company downsized, and at 56, she found it nearly impossible to find another position that paid anywhere close to what she was making. I understood her predicament and stepped in to help because that's what family does, right? My younger sister, Ashley, who's 26, has been living rent-free in Mom's basement with her twin 4-year-old daughters, Mia and Sophie. Ashley moved back home 3 years ago after her relationship with the twins' father fell apart. She claimed she needed time to get back on her feet, but that time has stretched indefinitely. She hasn't held a steady job since the girls were born, always claiming she's focusing on being the best mother possible and that childcare costs would eat up any potential income anyway. The thing is, Ashley's definition of motherhood seems to involve a lot of spa days, shopping trips, and girls' nights out while Mom watches the twins. I've watched this dynamic for months, biting my tongue because I didn't want to cause family drama. Ashley would post Instagram stories from expensive restaurants and boutique shopping trips, all while claiming she was too broke to contribute anything to the household expenses. Meanwhile, I've been working 60-hour weeks to keep my business growing and to ensure I can cover both my own family's needs and Mom's mortgage. My wife, Emma, works as a nurse at the local hospital, and we have a 6-year-old son, Jake, who's in 1st grade. Emma and I have been talking about having another child, but we've had to put those plans on hold because of the financial strain of supporting Mom. Last Friday started like any other day. I was reviewing contracts for 3 major landscaping projects when my business partner, Tony, called me in a panic. His 8-year-old daughter had been in a bicycle accident and was being rushed to the emergency room. Nothing life-threatening, but she had a possible concussion and he needed to be there. The problem was we had our biggest client presentation of the year scheduled for 2 p.m. that afternoon. This wasn't just any client. We were bidding on a massive commercial project for a new shopping complex, a contract worth $75,000 that could set us up for the entire winter season. I'd spent weeks preparing the presentation, creating detailed plans and cost estimates. Tony and I had practiced our pitch multiple times, but now I was going to have to handle it alone. The timing couldn't have been worse. Emma was at a mandatory nursing conference 2 hours away and wouldn't be back until evening. Our usual babysitter, Mrs. Rodriguez, was visiting her daughter in another state. I called 3 other sitters, but it was last minute on a Friday afternoon, and everyone was booked. I was getting desperate when I remembered that Mom was home with Ashley's twins anyway. They live just 15 minutes from my house, and Jake loves playing with his little cousins. It seemed like the perfect solution. I could drop Jake off, handle my presentation, and pick him up before dinner. 4 hours maximum. I called Mom around 11 a.m., trying to keep the stress out of my voice. Hey, Mom, how's your day going? Oh, you know, same old thing. I've got the girls here while Ashley runs some errands. I could hear Mia and Sophie chattering in the background. Actually, that's perfect timing. I have a huge client presentation today. The shopping complex project I told you about. Tony had a family emergency and Emma's at her conference. Could you add Jake to the mix? Just until Emma gets back around 5? He'd love to play with the girls. There was a pause that felt longer than it probably was. Then her response came through ice cold. Marcus, I'm not running a daycare center here. I am not your slave. Get a babysitter. I was stunned. I could literally hear Ashley's daughters giggling and playing in the background. She was already watching them, and adding one more child, her own grandson, shouldn't have been a big deal. Mom, you're literally babysitting Ashley's kids right now. Jake would just play with his cousins. They get along great. That's completely different, she snapped, her voice taking on that defensive tone I knew all too well. Ashley lives here. She contributes to the household. You have your own life, your own house, your own responsibilities. Contributes? I almost laughed out loud. Ashley hasn't paid a dime toward rent, utilities, groceries, or any other household expense since she moved in. I've been funding everything through my monthly mortgage payments, and the extra money I slip Mom for groceries and utilities. What exactly does Ashley contribute besides dirty dishes and extra laundry? Don't you dare disrespect your sister like that. Mom's voice rose. She's going through a hard time. She's a single mother trying to do her best. You have money. Hire someone. The conversation continued for another few minutes, but it was clear Mom wasn't going to budge. She kept insisting that Ashley's situation was different, that I should understand the distinction between helping family who lived under her roof versus providing free babysitting services. The irony was lost on her completely. I ended up scrambling to find last-minute child care. I finally found a sitter through an emergency service, but it cost me $180 for 4 hours, nearly double the normal rate because of the short notice. I was an hour late to my presentation because I had to drive across town to meet the sitter and get Jake settled. The client meeting didn't go well. I was flustered, unprepared without Tony's support, and I could tell the clients noticed my stress. We lost the contract to a competitor who came in $5,000 lower than our bid. That $75,000 opportunity disappeared because I couldn't get my own mother to watch her grandson for a few hours. That weekend, I was still fuming about the situation when I saw Ashley's Instagram stories. She'd posted a series of photos from an expensive spa day: massage, facial, manicure, pedicure, the works. The spa she went to charges at least $300 for their basic package. While she was getting pampered, Mom was watching Mia and Sophie, the same grandmother who couldn't spare 4 hours for Jake. When I asked Mom on Sunday how Ashley could afford such luxuries, her response was maddening. She deserves to treat herself occasionally. Single motherhood is exhausting, and she needs to take care of her mental health too. Single motherhood funded by my landscaping profits, apparently. I was working myself to exhaustion to pay Mom's bills so Ashley could live rent-free and spend money on spa treatments. The pattern continued over the next couple of weeks. Ashley would disappear for hours at a time. Shopping trips, lunch dates, girls' nights out, while Mom watched the twins without complaint. But anytime I mentioned needing help with Jake, even for an hour, Mom would remind me about boundaries and not taking advantage of family. 2 weeks after the failed client presentation, Mom called me in a complete panic. Her voice was shaking, and I could tell she'd been crying. "Marcus, honey, I need your help. The mortgage company called this morning. They said I'm 3 months behind on payments. They want $8,400 immediately, or they're going to start foreclosure proceedings next week." I was confused. 3 months behind? Mom, I've been sending you $2,800 every single month. I have the bank records to prove it. Well, yes, but she trailed off, and I could practically hear her scrambling for an explanation. Ashley needed a reliable car for job interviews. Her old one broke down completely, and she couldn't get to potential employers. And then the twins needed new winter clothes. They're growing so fast. Plus, there were some unexpected medical bills when Mia had that ear infection. It all became clear. She'd been spending my mortgage payments on Ashley's lifestyle while completely ignoring the actual mortgage. The car Ashley needed for job interviews was a nearly new Honda CR-V that cost $18,000. The winter clothes were designer outfits from children's boutiques. The medical bills were probably from private pediatric specialists instead of using regular insurance coverage. Mom, I've been paying your mortgage for 2 years so you could keep your house. When I asked for one favor, one simple favor to watch Jake for 4 hours, you told me you weren't my slave and to get a babysitter. But you've been using my mortgage payments to fund Ashley's shopping sprees? That's completely different, she protested. Ashley is struggling. She's trying to rebuild her life. Those weren't luxuries, they were necessities. A $300 spa day is a necessity. A brand new car when public transportation exists. Designer clothes for toddlers who will outgrow them in 6 months. You don't understand what it's like to be in her position, and you don't understand what it's like to be in mine. I've been working 60-hour weeks to support 2 households while you play favorites. I'm done. Marcus, please, you can't let them foreclose on the house. Where will Ashley and the girls go? I don't know, and frankly, I don't care anymore. You chose Ashley over me when it mattered. Now live with that choice. But they're children. You can't punish innocent children. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not enabling your bad decisions anymore. You had $2,800 $1,000 every month to keep this house. You chose to spend it on other things. That's on you, not me. I hung up and immediately called my bank to stop the automatic transfer I'd set up 2 years earlier. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe properly. 3 days later, Ashley called me sobbing hysterically. "Marcus, you have to help us. Mom's having a complete breakdown. She's been crying for 3 days straight. The bank is definitely taking the house. The sheriff came by yesterday to serve papers. Where are we supposed to go? I have 2 little girls." "Ask the spa, where you spent my mortgage payment last weekend. That was a gift from Mom." She said I needed to relax. "A gift bought with money I sent to keep a roof over your head. Money that was supposed to go to the mortgage you're now losing. You can't let us become homeless over your stupid ego. These are your nieces we're talking about." "My ego?" "Ashley, I've been funding your lifestyle for 2 years. I've watched you post photos from expensive restaurants while I eat packed lunches to save money. I've seen you buy designer clothes while I wear the same work boots until they have holes. And when I needed one favor, 4 hours of babysitting, Mom chose you over me." "That was different. I live here." "You live there rent-free because I pay the mortgage. Or rather, because I used to pay the mortgage. But instead of appreciating that sacrifice, you and Mom treated me like a walking ATM with no feelings or needs of my own. So what are we supposed to do now?" "Figure it out. You're adults. Act like it." "Marcus, please. Watch me." I hung up. 6 weeks later, the inevitable happened. Mom lost the house to foreclosure. Ashley had to swallow her pride and move in with Derek, the father of one of her twins. The same man she'd spent years calling toxic and unstable and claiming she could never trust around the children. Turns out Derek wasn't quite so toxic when Ashley needed a roof over her head. Funny how perspectives change when the free ride ends. Mom ended up in a cramped studio apartment across town, sharing space barely big enough for one person. At 58, she had to take a retail job at Target, working part-time for $12 an hour, because nobody else would hire someone her age without recent experience. She went from living in a comfortable 3-bedroom house to folding clothes and dealing with difficult customers just to pay for basic necessities. The apartment she could afford was in a rough neighborhood, nothing like the suburban comfort she'd known for decades. No more spacious kitchen for family gatherings, no more backyard for the grandchildren to play in, no more guest rooms for when family visited. Just a studio with thin walls, noisy neighbors, and a view of the parking lot. Last month, 3 months after losing the house, she called me from her new number. Her voice sounded smaller, defeated in a way I'd never heard before. "Marcus, I think I made a terrible mistake. Ashley barely speaks to me anymore now that she got what she needed. She's completely focused on rebuilding her relationship with Derek, and suddenly she doesn't need Grandma around as much. The girls ask about the old house and why they can't come visit anymore. Can we work something out? Maybe I could start paying you back gradually. You chose your favorite daughter, Mom. How's that working out for you? I never meant for things to go this far. I thought you'd understand." "I understood perfectly. You made it crystal clear that Ashley's convenience was more important than my needs, even after everything I'd sacrificed for you." She started crying, and part of me felt bad for her. But I'd already learned that feeling sorry for her only led to more exploitation. "I'm sorry, Mom. You taught me that family members should set boundaries and not be taken advantage of. You showed me that people who can't appreciate what they have don't deserve to keep getting it. That's not what I meant." "Maybe not, but that's what you demonstrated. Actions speak louder than words." I hung up, and I haven't heard from her since. Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh, if I should have given her another chance. But then I think about all those months of working extra hours to cover her mortgage while she spent my money on Ashley's luxuries. I think about missing Jake's soccer games because I was working weekends to make ends meet. I think about Emma and me postponing our plans for another child because our budget was stretched too thin. Most of all, I think about that moment when I needed help and was told I wasn't worth 4 hours of my mother's time, while Ashley was worth unlimited free childcare and financial support. Sometimes the best lesson is learning that actions have consequences, even for mothers who play favorites. I'm not anyone's slave, and I'm definitely not anyone's bank.